Hey guys, how's it going? So let's have a look at this Club Jam drum kit from Tama and see how it's going 4 years later. So I think this would have been put through, my guess is about 350, 400 gigs, something like that. And it's been the kit that I take out in most places, playing weddings and a lot of corporate dues. So how has it held up? Overall, for what you pay for this drum kit, it's an absolute steal. So don't think that it's going to fall apart. It has its faults, and I'll go through each and every one of them. But majority of it is it's solid. It's very solid. And the sound off it is quite good. You can see the full review. I'll leave a card on that, and that'll go through everything in detail in terms of like the sound and all the little bits. This is just about how it's held up. So we'll just go to the first problem that I had, which is the snare drum. Now the snare drum is no great shakes. It doesn't sound that great. As I said in the review, it's not that good. The first thing that happened was the strainer popped off, and that happened within a couple of months of getting it. This is not meant for. This isn't a heavy duty snare. So it's just something that's nice if you ever want to have something that matches everything else. The sound off it is just okay. You can check out the review if you want to see more of the sound, but in terms of the quality of it, that was the first thing that caused trouble within a couple of months. The snare wire, the strainer popped off completely. I had to get in there and re-screw. I had to get new screws for it, and pop in new screws there. So I just didn't take it out after that. Plus, as well, I'm a bit of a snare snob, so that was kind of what the sound wasn't getting. You get a good crack off it, but the sound isn't what I want to get out of the snare drum. Floor tom, zero issues. It was great. Everything held on really well. There's nothing to say about it. Everything's fine. You see, it's way easier to tune than the tom, and you're probably thinking, well, why is that tom on a snare stand? I'll explain that in a minute. But this is really easy to tune. Still is to this day. That one over there, not easy to tune. Loses tuning, as I said in the full review. It loses tuning quite fast when you're playing a gig. So you'll put it on 3 or 4 tunes in, you'll start losing a little bit of tuning in the tom, kind of what you'd expect for a €400 drum kit. This is a little gem. And I was worried about it, whether it was going to cause trouble, was it going to fall over. No issues with it at all. So the cymbal stand that is attached to the actual bass drum, this is a 22 inch that I put on, 21 inch. I also put a 22 inch and also a heavy ride from the Robel dry ride from Sabian. No issues with it. So it's got a lot of weight. And I give it a fair welly, and no issues at all with it. It stays on perfect, no cracking, no nothing. This little thing, the extension, like I said, I'd like to get a little bit higher, but all in all, that's brilliant. And not having to bring an extra snare stand is brilliant. So 10 out of 10 for that. The tom bit here, fine, no issues at all with it. It stayed perfectly, and as for the tom holder, that's in perfect nick as well. Actually, let me get the tom holder for you here. I was doing a video in that room just there, so there it is. That's the reason why this is out. And why is the tom holder off, I hear you say? Well, the tom holder is off, I'll explain in a minute, but tom holder, fine, no issues. You don't have to worry about anything there. No cracking, no nothing. Good range of motion. Check out the full review if you want to know more about that. Now, here's the newest issue. Well, let me talk about an issue before I go to the major issue that's happened in the last week. Sometimes you'll find that there's a screw that may come loose from the inside. So the thing that is holding the lugs on, you might have an issue with them. So it's a little bit annoying. It happened twice. I'd arrive to the gig, and then the next thing I'd hear a bit of rattling, and I'd realise the screw had come out from holding on to the lug. The screw that holds the lug on has come out. So I'd have to do the skin. Luckily, the bass player had a screwdriver, and I went in, screwed it in. It's a quick fix, but it's something that's happened twice. But it's not the worst. Now this is an issue. Check it out. See? There's a massive crack. So the crack, I opened up the kit there, I think it was 2 weeks ago, and realized there's a big massive crack here. And what happens is, as you tighten it up, you're going to tighten it up with the bar in the middle, and as this nut goes in, this comes out. So it just keeps coming out. So it's impossible to leave it on the stand. This whole thing has to be replaced. Now I'm in the middle of looking at that to get replaced. Called 3 places. One of them got back to me, said they're just not going to get it in. The other place hasn't got back to me, and Thomann have said they don't have it in stock, but they're looking to get they're talking to Tama to get it. So because the Club Jam, I was about to say it's relatively new, but it's really not. They don't have the spare parts as much as they'd have the other Tama range drum kits. So to get a part for it is quite difficult. If you're in the States, you're not going to have an issue getting parts. That's just the way it is. But here in Ireland, but also like nobody really had any part in the UK. There's one spot in America that has it, but I don't know whether they're going to send. They send parts to Europe. It's always an issue to try and get something from America to Europe. Anyway, that's an issue. I think that's pretty much the whole thing covered. All in all, it's held up really, really well. The bass drum, I better talk about that. No issues here. That stayed in place. They don't come loose. The legs, same with that side. Nothing to worry about. The hoops are solid. The shells are very solid, bar the screw that comes loose in the tom. So all in all, for the money that you spend less than $400 on this drum kit. The few issues that I had there with it is really worth the price. It's good. It's quality stuff, bar the few little things that have gone wrong. But that's what the kit is like after 4 years. That's with real heavy use. So if you're a person that just gigs now and then, and you need something like that, this should be one that you should look into. You should have no worries about buying this drum kit because it's held up really, really well. Anyway, if anybody knows and can help me where to get a part for that, that'd be great. I'm still waiting for Thomann to get back to me, but they seem to be the only ones that are helping me. So let me know. Other than that, I'll see you next week for a brand new video. Take it easy, guys. Any questions, let me know. Hit the old subscribe button. Bye-bye.
Guys, hit me up on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And if you like what you've seen here today, you can see a lot more videos. Just click on any of them here on the screen.